Hello everyone and welcome to another very nice game from the FIDE Grand Swiss. I decided to cover, it's from the penultimate round, and it's Abhimanyu Mishra versus Vasyl Ivanchuk, which makes it a really wonderful pairing. Abhimanyu Mishra is the youngest Grandmaster in the world, and the last time I said it, I thought, okay, that sounds a bit weird. He is not currently the youngest Grandmaster in the world. He achieved his Grandmaster title at the youngest age that anyone was ever able to do. He beat Sergei Karyakin's record, and he became a Grandmaster at the age of 12 years, 4 months, and 25 days. He's currently 14 years old, and he is on a mission to become the youngest world champion ever. On the other hand, you have Vasyl Ivanchuk, who is, well, on a good day, he's a nightmare to any player. He can defeat everyone, and he can just, if he has a great day, he can definitely crush a world champion. And he's been a Grandmaster since 1988, and interestingly, in 1988, he also entered the world top 10. That's just how strong he was. So he became a Grandmaster and immediately entered the world top 10 in classical rating. So let's check it out, as it's a really weird game where not a lot seems to be happening, but then all of a sudden it's checkmate and there's nothing you can do. So let's check it out. Abhimanyu has the white pieces and he opened with e4. We have a very well-known line of the Sicilian defense. Knight f3, d6, we have d4, captures, and now knight to f6. We have knight to c3 and knight to c6. Bishop to g5, the Richter-Rauzer variation, and now pawn to e6. Queen to d2 and pawn to a6. Now taking away the b5 square from the white knights. Knight captures on c6. We have b captures and now queenside castles. Now all been played before, nothing new here. Bishop to e7 is the standard move here. However, Vasyl goes for pawn to d5 right away. He strikes in the center. And now we have queen to e3. It's sort of a maybe a tricky line where you try to get this maybe bishop captures and f6, g captures and bishop to c4 in, but it's not all that spectacular for white, at least not at the moment. Of course, you want to do this at some point and remaneuver your bishop to b3, as Vasyl will have the semi-open b file to use to attack the white king, but what Abhimanyu goes for is a little bit better. He goes for queen to e3, so he keeps the tension, and now you always have to worry about this e captures on d5, since the king is still on e8, and also e5 could be very annoying due to the pin here. So bishop to e7, and only now bishop captures. So you cannot capture with the bishop. If you capture with the bishop, now this will be a problem, as you will blunder a pawn here. This is now impossible. So instead, after bishop captures, we have g captures, and now bishop to c4. So similar, but you've also now opened up the g file as well as the b file. So black does have the semi-open b file and the semi-open g file, but the question is, what will you do with your king? So bishop to b7, and now rook h to e1, getting your pieces fully developed, and now we have pawn to h5. Usually queen to c7 is a move you want to play here, as the rook here is on d1, but no, we have pawn to h5, and here Abhimanyu says, all right, if you want to keep your king in the center of the board and the queen, let's open up the position. E captures on d5, c captures, and bishop captures on d5. He sacrifices a piece to open up the center. E captures, knight captures, bishop captures, and the rook captures on d5, attacking the black queen. And Ivanchuk just plays queen to c7, and he asks, all right, I'm up a piece, what are you really threatening here? So, okay, Abhimanyu plays rook to c5. Bishop, of course, cannot move, and if the queen captures, well, then queen captures, and you will not be able to capture back, as the bishop is pinned. So, something else must be played. Queen to d6 is probably best. It's forcing repetition, because now there's really nothing better than to just repeat moves here, and we would most likely see a draw by threefold repetition. But Vasyl went back, and now he allows this very strong queen to f3 move, but Abhimanyu for some reason doesn't play it right away. He first wants to check maybe if Vasyl really does not want a repetition here, because it's not easy to calculate all the way, and Vasyl says queen to c7, rook to c5, and he goes back queen to d8. He does not go queen to d6. So queen back to d8, and now Abhimanyu says, all right, now queen to f3, and we reach the position from the thumbnail where you are putting pressure on the rook here. You are threatening to pick up the h5 pawn, and also if black doesn't do anything about the king, queen captures on f6 will land, and that will be very hard to defend. So king to f8, it is the strongest move, and now Abhimanyu just captures on h5. Yes, you're down a piece, but your opponent's king is in a really bad spot here, and you will have 3 pawns on the king side to start pushing. You're now up 3 pawns, which is enough compensation for the piece. Even if we eliminated the queen and the rooks from the board, it's still only white who can win this. Not something you want to do. Of course, it'd be much better if white first advanced the pawns as far as possible and then went into an endgame. But yeah, black is not winning this however you play it. Rook captures on h5, queen captures on h5, and now, believe it or not, you have to play king to e8. It's such an ugly move putting the king in front of the rook like this, but the point is, after queen to h8 check, king to d7, and rook to d1 check, you can block with bishop to d6. And still, it's, I mean, yes, you are still up a piece, but it's an open board. The king can be checked from any position, and now Abhimanyu will of course start advancing those kingside pawns. And again, it's only Abhimanyu who can win this game. However, he played king to g7, which is fine unless Abhimanyu finds the only way to actually win the game. It's sort of a mixture of, will you checkmate the black king or will you win a lot of material? So feel free to pause the video and figure out how to do it while I give you a couple of seconds. It is what you think, but you have to look a bit further just, to cement it properly. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on always going for a very nice rook lift. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is rook to e3. No doubt that this is the move you've all found, and of course a rook to g3 will end in checkmate after king to f8 and queen to h8. But what if bishop to d6, as this is what Vasyl played? What now? You found rook to e3, and what was your move after bishop to d6? That is the real question here, and the answer is only one move, and that is queen to g4 with check. King to f8, and now rook h3, threatening rook to h8 to win the black queen on d8. And after king to e7, now queen to e4 with check. King to d7, of course, if you could play bishop e5, it'd be great, but f4 just wins that bishop. So you have to move the king, king to d7, and now queen to b7 with check. And now you can block with the queen because you lose the rook. You cannot block with the bishop because you lose the queen after rook to d3 with check. So you again have to move the king. King to e8 was played, and only now rook to h8 with check. And that's all there is. Bishop to f8 blocking, and now rook to h7 going after checkmate here. And the only way to defend checkmate is to either move the queen, but then you lose the rook, or to move the bishop. Bishop to e7 was played, but now just queen to c6 with check. And he was in this position on move 31 that Vasyl Ivanchuk resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. It's a really crazy position where if you block with the queen, of course you have to give up the rook, or even better, rook to h8 check, and then after bishop to f8, now you take, and after the queen blocks, now you just trade everything. You can capture here and then pick up the queen. You're going to be up a full queen, of course, completely winning. And if you don't do that, if you start running away with the king, it's not much better, because you will now play queen captures on a8. A temporary queen sacrifice, but nothing to worry about, just queen captures on a8. Rook to h8 check, king g7, and now queen captures on a8, and that's all there is. You have a rook for a bishop, you're up 3 pawns, completely winning however you play it. Literally anyone could win this without putting in much thought into this. So of course, after queen to c6 check, Vasyl resigned, and a wonderful victory for the youngest ever grandmaster, Abhimanyu Mishra. We'll see how he does. I think he got like 5.5 in the tournament. Let me just check. I don't know the final standings. Yeah, he got 5.5 out of 11, which got him to yeah, he finished the tournament as number 59, so could be a little bit better, but nothing, not terrible. He lost his first round to Alexis Arana, and he lost to Alan Pichot. All the other games, either a victory or a draw. He defeated Alexander Donchenko and Vasyl Ivanchuk, and got a lot of draws against some very strong grandmasters. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you a lot for recommending it. Really is a wonderful one, and it really is a fine matchup. Vasyl Ivanchuk, the most fearsome player who ever lived. He was everyone who played him just feared playing against him because he was so strong. He won everything. He was absolutely incredible in his prime, and even now when he has a good day, he will crush everyone against the youngest Grandmaster in the world. A very, very nice matchup. So once again, really hope you guys enjoyed it. I would like to thank Gerhard Hankelman, Perforsal Love Marie, India, Florida Iguana and Tortoise Breeders, and Carrie Elise Rodella for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. So thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.